Let's get a few things out of the way. My word is not law. I am not the smartest person alive. I'm not even a journalist. But when a journalist tells you something, you should not take them at face value. Look for personal biases. Do your own research. Journalists start conversations. They should not end them. All the information gathered in this video is freely available online, documented to an inane extent through patch notes, online discussion, etc. My loose and unprofessional language is intentional, as I believe that comedy is necessary in legitimate discussions about serious topics, and all people, even the uncouth and uncultured, deserve their seat at the table in these discussions. If you want professionalism in your discussion about us slowly slipping into a cyberpunk dystopia, go watch a TED Talk. Decentralization is a fun buzzword people like to use to describe just about anything they want now. Decentralization is, in essence, the transfer of control over something from a single authority to several local authorities, rather than just one. Simply put, it means that no one person is entirely in charge, but it functions like a branching tree of people with charge over a subsection. In terms of technology and social media, that means rather than Mark Zuckerberg owning 90% of our social media and then Elon Musk owning the other 10%, it's a bunch of random software developers who kind of know what they're doing. In the same vein, open source development is when the source code for a software is available for anyone to use, modify, and distribute. So, like a Mr. Beast video, I spent 3 weeks using decentralized social media, normal social media, and I even played a few NFT crypto games. We're gonna cover ease of access, user experience, and most importantly, content. With NFT and crypto games, I'll have the added category of NFT/crypto integration. Yes, I spent money doing this. Let's hop on PeerTube. Now, I'm going to spend some time on this without an account, and with an account, since it's meant to be a YouTube analog and you can do both on YouTube. Then, I'll compare my time on YouTube doing the same thing, and I'd like to note that just searching the PeerTube instances set off my antivirus, which is, well, it's a touch easier to find some PeerTube instances, and holy shit, I think I found the next Ted Kaczynski. Oh, hold on. I need you to understand. This person is getting around 1,000 views a video. Some of these are hours long. It's partially about analog technology like transistor radios, CRT TVs, VCRs. This girl records on a camcorder from the 80s and has a 3-hour video just showing her day. Her blog, attached to this site, talks about reptilians, weird occult conspiracy theories, and despite all this, she is surprisingly not racist or anti-Semitic, which is kind of wild. She's got some truly wild takes on here, is apparently married to Duke Nukem. Yes, that Duke Nukem. And also her boyfriend is Ronald McDonald. I can't tell if this is an ARG, or if it's some kind of super in-depth joke, or if it's a genuine, you need Thorazine in a padded cell. I stupidly called the number and wrote an email using the requested encryption software and a non-Gmail account to the contacts listed out of pure curiosity. No update, but this was interesting and took several hours of my life due to the pure insanity. Let's find something normal though. Alright, I pop into fetty.video. And I'll admit, it does have some things I'm interested in. Stuff about new GPUs, Steam Decks, using a Commodore 64 keyboard? Like as a synth? Some Blender tutorials, not very in-depth ones, and a lot don't even have voiceovers to help the explanation. There's some gaming news stuff, a lot of more home video type things. A mod review for a Minecraft alternative? I think the last time I heard about one of those besides Terraria, it was Orespawn, and that was a long time ago. A lot of stuff about Linux. And see, here's the thing. You'll never not run into that, because a lot of these people are coders or programmers who who are obsessive about privacy. Linux is basically inoperable without at least a little programming knowledge, and even most programmers I've met don't use it for the fact that it is not fun to try and make run. My other problem is that this whole thing feels more corporate, and again, this is a problem with the culture cultivated by the community. It's very LinkedIn and not very broadcast yourself. The problem here isn't that there's not content I'm interested in. Hell, they've got just full pirated movies on some PeerTube instances. There's not a personality that interests me and keeps me watching. It's all very news anchory or overly polished and professional to the point where it feels like someone is holding a gun to these poor guys' heads and asking them to make educational videos. Alright, let's check out videos.danksquad.org. Okay, so some people being bad at video games, some old memes, to be fair, funny ones, some YouTube archives. I'll note now, I did choose to make an account, but all the things I subscribed to didn't really post in the time I was on there. And on top of it, it's really hard to find similar accounts without an algorithm. On top of that, some of this isn't archiving YouTube videos. Some of it is actually just stealing very recently made videos and pretending it's theirs, preventing the person who invested time and effort into it from getting exposure to it, namely serial killing for fun and profit by Fleshscape, along with a lot of other popular true crime videos. I also don't get recommended related videos after clicking on one either. I have a lot of personal bias towards YouTube, so I won't be reviewing my personal feed, which has been very curated to me at this point, as it's my main source of online media consumption. I will, however, log out of my YouTube account and check out what's trending. For starters, the new Tyler the Creator single, which, it's good. Every Tyler album since Wolf has been peak. No surprise there. Let's tab over to gaming. I'm a bit of a gamer myself. Some Dark Souls, a few critical videos, and my favorite genre, a video essay or two. One is Carl Jobs talking about fake speedrunners, the other is an account I've never heard of talking about childhood video games. Dude's pretty funny. Degenerosity. Go watch him if you're into that kind of thing. Remaking a 24-hour horror game, which was cool. A YouTuber called Shawcat, and the game is called The Wicker Devil. Clicked on the Tyler drop after a few minutes. Got another video recommended that said every Tyler the Creator album, but if the album title is said, the next album starts, which I'll admit is really goddamn funny. Curtis Connor video about a Stranger Things ripoff. The algorithm is pretty mild on offline YouTube, but realistically, the algorithm is kind of necessary. The reason that these Fediverse sites work for some people are a few short things. The culture on the site is already predetermined. People going into the Fediverse already have a interest in things like Linux and coding and that sort of deal. They don't need an algorithm because these are small, contained communities within an already small, contained community. There's less content, and it's harder for you to find that content, and frankly, the content might just not be for you. And if you are into decentralization and Linux, things like that are already associated with the Fediverse by proxy of being a method that people already use for privacy purposes. Maybe these sites are for you, but as your average everyday person just looking for a video about whether the new Black Ops is good, or a long video essay about a horror game from 2006 I never played and am never going to play, or even just someone personable to listen to talk about something from their childhood, or lift on a meme video or something. You want a wider content pool, or at least you want a content pool that isn't as focused on decentralization and privacy. That's why algorithms exist as fucked up as that is, you create yours. And the fact that it's filled with brain rot and politics is just as much a function of what you linger on as it is a product of the fact that there is an algorithm. YouTubers tend to be more personal too, because you tend to find ones that speak to you. Sometimes the content isn't as polished and professional looking, but sometimes that's the best content you can ask for. Take an account I'm subscribed to on my main profile, Dame. I just happened upon him one day, not even 700 subscribers, very low effort content, mostly him talking about stuff he thinks is funny with some fun editing and art, including his little spy versus spy character. It's not polished, it's not professional, but whenever he posts, I tune in, and I only found him because the algorithm went, hey, you watch sort of funny story videos sometimes. Here's this small creator some people who watch the same stuff tune into. And when I found him, he was at 200. So obviously the algorithm boosts him to some extent. People are finding him the past few months. His art is being noticed. And it should be. It deserves recognition, as all art does, but he could never find that kind of notoriety on something like DankTube. Okay, this is the part you were all waiting for, I'm sure. Some NFT/crypto games. I'm something of a gamer myself, so I'll be treating these as if I'm playing a completely normal game. I'll compare them to a relevant game. Also, I'm using an old laptop to play these games because I'm not getting a crypto miner on my actual PC. Sorry. Decentraland, or basically Roblox. I had to play Roblox for this. Yes, I feel shame about it. Decentraland is, as it sounds, a decentralized video game. It's a creator-led platform which, as I've found out, most of the relatively small population is advertisers and staunch libertarians. This raises the same issue as the Fediverse. These are the only people bothering to make content. The only appeal gets narrower. The core tenets of complete decentralization and autonomy also create a few issues. You can't move the player, you can't teleport a player directly as part of your build, ruling out certain forms of platforming and things like that already. Real-time gameplay is basically impossible due to the poor optimization and server lag. There's no physics engine, so no recreating Portal in this. On top of all this, you have to buy land in their metaverse to make a game on the land you have bought. You can only have basic movements, jumping, point and click. Also, you can name yourself a slur if you're a die-hard freedom of speech enjoyer, I guess. You won't get banned for this because, again, that's the kind of community that this pocket of the internet has cultivated, and there's no long arm of the law to solve this here. The problem is that most gamers don't want to see decentralization. They just want to play games and have fun, so the appeal is completely lost. This isn't fun. It just makes my laptop sound like a jet engine because it's so poorly optimized that my GPU, my CPU, and RAM suddenly start wanting me to use them as a stove to make soup on. They are screaming for help. One game here is just standing on a conveyor belt which takes you through while you see advertisements. Some of the plots here are just blank white art panes, which used to house NFTs, which means NFTs aren't even a PNG. They're a hyperlink pasted into the game. Also, the crypto integration is basically just you buy land and costumes or something, so 0 out of 10. Just a cash grab for the people who originally made it. Roblox. Since Decentraland is mostly obstacle courses in terms of the games they have on there, I fired one up on Roblox.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd. No barking from the dog, no small. And mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. I got my grub on, but didn't dig out. Finally got a call from a girl I wanna dig out. So hooked it up for later as I hit the dough. Thinking, will I live another 24? I gotta go, cause I got me a drop top. And if I hit the switch, I can make the ass drop.
Now, Roblox is a game where people can make their own games, So each thing on here is the height of someone's creativity within the confines of the game, similar to Decentraland. Except there's actually creativity here, and they make an effort to make a good game. That really goes a long way with something like this, and it shows. Honestly, it's kind of embarrassing that most people on Decentraland making stuff are adults, and the children making stuff on Roblox are doing it better than them. Undead Blocks, which is like Call of Duty Zombies, I guess. This project is completely soulless and also just a cash grab. There's only one map, and you can very, very slowly earn the game's crypto coin. It lets you buy a pink AK-47 or a green one. There's no real pathfinding AI on the zombies, and they always move slower than you, so you just move backwards and shoot the zombies. Also, it takes months for them to pay you for the crypto you earned, because this is just a thinly veiled Ponzi scheme. Also, since there's no anti-cheat, you can just jailbreak the launcher and get all their funny NFT skins for free. The multiplayer doesn't even work. Also, this game asks you to run it as an administrator when you launch it, which is horrifying from an untrustworthy source if you know anything about how operating systems work. Crypto integration is you can earn money from killing zombies, and you can spend crypto on skins and stuff, which why not just take out the middleman at that point? 0 out of 10. So, some good old zombies. Is it even comparable to Undead Blocks? No, not at all. Black Ops is objectively better in every way. I purchased Black Ops 6 for me and a friend and played it. Merry Christmas, Chayton.
We gaming?
We are now recording. Do you have anything you would like to say to my science fiction class before we start? Bro, you can't say that.
Don't you know that I pack up punch? 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 Back to the source, walking on the sky, I was born with the force. Don't care about the money or the power of your horses. Fly with my Civic, don't care about the Porsches.
It's just better. There's no real question here. No small-time dev is going to make something as well-oiled and polished as Black Ops Zombies is. They never will, and pretending that it might even be somewhat close to that is blatantly disregarding reality itself. So, are any of these decentralized open source platforms any good? No, they're all dog water, unoptimized garbage that feeds you the exact same slop or gives you completely schizophrenic content that you'd find in the depths of a Daniel Larson documentary. It's full of people with a holier-than-thou attitude who are incredibly pretentious and view their usage of these options as something that makes them superior. Or maybe people who'd quickly get a Fed knocking on their door if they saw what they were posting. It's no different than the corporate forms of social media that already exist. The problem is, the people spearheading this movement have created that culture by proxy of already being very pretentious about it. It's uninviting to the average consumer, and the reason for that is because megacorps like Meta have UI testers and algorithms that purposefully cater to you. Maybe the problem is that these decentralized things don't have the financial backing. Well, if they did, wouldn't they just be another megacorporation? And at the end of the day, wouldn't another greedy bastard end up in charge and do the same thing? So how does all of this relate to science fiction? What's the point I'm actually getting at here? If you want privacy, if you want autonomy, if you want megacorps to have viable competition, go vote for political officials who want that too. Go vote against monopolies. Go vote for a market that has restrictions in place against predatory multinational conglomerates that take a stranglehold over the free market. The world doesn't change because some software engineer decided to make Instagram but better. The world changes when you actually take a stand against the issues of it. At the end of the day, our current economic system and the laws that guide it naturally lead to the cyberpunk conclusion, where megacorps take over the entirety of the market and lobby to keep their stranglehold over it. Every company becomes a subsidiary or a shell company, all to fund one guy's autocratic control of society through his technology. We see it with Elon Musk and Twitter, we see it with Zuckerberg and Meta. These corporations are no different than Arasaka and Cyberpunk, and the people heading them are no different than the meths in Altered Carbon. Decentralization isn't the solution we want, it's not the solution we need, and in the end, it won't prevent Weyland-Yutani from coming into existence. Anarchy solves nothing. The one solution that does exist is the one that requires everyone truly care and take action. Which is why it's the one everyone doesn't talk about, because it means standing on business and actually trying to make a change actively, instead of just hoping that this next thing is the MacGuffin that will surely take those Tyrell Corporation heads to their knees. It'll make Amazon finally let workers unionize. It won't. You want to make change? Just do it. Don't sit there and watch as the world gets scarier and we drift closer to the future science fiction writers like Asimov warned us about with iRobot, just to whine when it happens. Be angry now. Let that anger about the harm these corporations cause change the world now, before we end up in that dark future.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.